Welcome back to Cocktails and Classics. I'm Dylan. Joining me as always are Cam, Ben, and Zach.
Hi.
And this
Hello.
week we did Singin' in the Rain, 1952 musical comedy. To kick things off and get everybody in the right mood, we're going to go to this week's cocktail. Our cocktail comes from foodrepublic.com. It is the Don Lockwood cocktail. It is an ounce of Elijah Craig bourbon, an ounce of Islay Scotch, I guess Bowmore Islay Scotch. They're very specific about the liquors that you use in this cocktail. 3/8 of an ounce, which, what a measurement, of maple syrup, 2 dashes of Angostura bitters, and 2 dashes of chocolate bitters.
Chocolate bitters. What do you use chocolate bitters for besides this?
So I like to put a couple dashes of chocolate bitters, some peanut butter whiskey, and a little bit of coffee, and it tastes like a
Interesting
Reese's peanut butter cup.
That could actually, I could see that being good. I didn't even know it was a thing, honestly.
Does that get you going in the morning, Ben? On your drive to work?
Yeah, when he's listening to our podcast.
Never on a drive. Only when I get to work.
Work from home. Hopefully.
That's how I make my drives last an hour so I can listen to the podcast.
I just bought some, actually. I bought some when we were in Jackson from like a little local place, and it's coffee and chocolate bitters.
Okay.
This cocktail's interesting. I don't really typically go for like an old fashioned, which is pretty much a variant of that. And with the Islay Scotch, it makes it pretty smoky, which I feel like I just need to keep drinking like mezcal and like Islay Scotch and stuff, and maybe I'll get more like akin to put that in things, but
why?
It's not like great for me right now.
It always is weird for me when people say stuff like that, like, you know, like it's an acquired taste. Like, okay. Like, if you don't like it, you don't like it. Like, is poop an acquired taste, you know? Like, why would you keep eating it to get used to it?
That's
Human
the divide
flesh
between
is.
the Islay Scotch and the poop community. Is the Islay Scotch drinkers probably learn to like Islay Scotch a little more? The poop people were probably big poop fans the first time they had it.
Well, I don't know. I just feel like in the beer context, people are like, oh, it's just an acquired taste. It's like, well, wait, if you don't like it,
I don't think you acquire the taste of poop, Kim.
I know. I'm just that exactly. That's my
some
point.
Dudes just built different.
Believe me, Zach has tried.
My point is that I think if you don't
and then you
like
eat
it,
the poo-poo.
the first couple go-arounds, I think you just don't like it, which is
okay,
fine.
but I do think like giving it a fair shot, like especially something like a liquor or something that's just like an ingredient in something bigger, because it could enhance a flavor, could add to something, and then you might find like an appreciation for it. But like
That's true.
I mean, I'm not gonna be sipping on like mezcal and be like,
right.
man, I really hate it right now, but if I just keep sipping, it's gonna be
I
great.
just keep chugging along. I mean, that's how I felt about gin before some of the drinks we made like last year. Like, I thought I hated gin, but I just hated gin or either like the type I was drinking or in the drinks it was in. Because otherwise, like, it was actually good in some of the cocktails we made in the past.
So Cam just argued against himself, actually. He was like, why would you drink something if you hate it? And then it's like, actually, gin, it
No,
did
no,
that
no.
for
That's
me.
not. No. That's not what I'm saying.
I actually acquired a taste for poop.
You know what?
No, I'm not. I'm not arguing gin's an acquired taste. I'm just like
The poop is though, right, man?
Second harvest, man. Just got a second harvest.
if you try scotch in a ton of different things and you still don't like it, you probably just don't like scotch, you know? But if you're drinking scotch to try and like get yourself acclimated to scotch, then like I said, you probably just don't like it, and you're just probably getting used to it, you know?
So if you're just eating poop to like get acclimated to poop,
Yeah, I
you
mean,
probably
if
just
you're
don't
trying
like
to
it.
eat poop
If
and
you
you
try
don't like
poop in a
it,
bunch of different cocktails, then you probably don't like poop. But if you're
Yeah,
sitting
I mean,
there trying to
I
like
guess.
poop, you probably won't like poop.
it's an extreme example, but yeah, I guess so.
Check the show notes below. Make yourself a Don Lockwood. I guess I didn't even say that it's named after the character that Gene Kelly plays
this
in the movie.
episode's already a turd.
Or just shit in a glass, either one.
We're back to the cocktails and classics meta here. Bourbon and maple syrup. The
Thank God.
the Zach combo. I saw onion bitters at my liquor store, and I was like, that
Onion
sounds
bitters?
icky.
I've seen like different types of bitters at the stores, but
Only cocktail that the onion bitter sounds good in is definitely that hot dog water cocktail we talked about.
yeah, the hot dog water.
Like a coney dog.
It's okay. It's probably good in one of Zach's drinks, like a tomato-based drink.
I was gonna say
that
a
would be really
deconstructed
good.
Bloody Mary or like
Yeah.
a dirty martini. Because didn't we have one where you did like the little pearl onions?
Onion.
the
Yeah,
pickled
yeah.
The Gibson.
pickled onion. Yeah,
It was,
the
an onion-
Gibson.
it was a martini
Yeah.
based one. Yeah. In a savory martini, it might be good if you like those types of things. I don't, but if you do,
I think they're an
more power to
acquired
you.
taste.
Much like poop, they are an acquired taste.
I guess if you drink it enough.
Oh
sure.
man,
I
this
don't-
conversation really stinks, guys.
There's a lingering question of why you would want to acquire a taste for poop or
Tax purposes.
What?
what write-offs do you get for that?
If you walk into your accountant, you walk into H&R Block, and you're like, yeah, I'm a poop eater, how can you help? They're going to do their best to get you out the door as fast as possible.
They give you SSI/disability right off the bat.
Make it Don Lockwood. Tell us what you think. Send us a photo. Tag us on Instagram at Cocktails and Classics Pod. Use the hashtag Cocktails and Classics. Send us your drink and movie recommendations. We want to see them Don Lockwood picks, but not the Gene Kelly Don Lockwood. We want to see your cocktail picks.
What?
Whoa,
what?
Whoa.
Singin' in the Rain is a 1952 comedy bromance musical film directed by Stanley Donen and Gene Kelly. It stars Gene Kelly, Donald O'Connor, Debbie Reynolds, Gene Hagen, Millard Mitchell. It's the story of a silent film production company and cast who make a difficult transition into the world of talkies. Currently
What a
sits at a
stupid name.
talkies?
Yeah.
Well, they're not silenties. So
Well, they didn't call them that either.
currently sits at an 8.3 out of 10 on IMDb, which makes it the number 97 on the IMDb Top 250. It's nominated for 2 Oscars. Best Actress in a Supporting Role for Gene Hagen, and Best Music, Scoring of a Motion Picture, Lenny Hayden. Who hadn't seen this movie before?
Me.
Cam and Zach.
Yep.
Yeah.
Interesting. I feel like this is one they would also throw at you at like a introductory film course.
I don't think I've ever taken an introductory film course.
Well, the other guy has.
Samesies, poop bro.
Really? I thought you did, Zach.
No, I took Introduction to Religion.
did.
It's similar, but shorter.
Yes.
I did music appreciation.
Well, what'd you guys think?
I have a question. What do you guys think that I thought about this one?
I feel like you're gonna hate it.
Okay. Other opinions in the room?
Not a
Is that?
clue. Didn't think about it yet.
I just assumed you weren't gonna like it.
Okay. I was
And
curious about that.
And GL figured you would not like it because there's really a lot of just random song and dance breaks, and that feels
There
like
are.
something that you're like not a fan of.
So yeah, here's the thing. About musicals. I wouldn't call myself someone who likes musicals, but I will say that I don't know. We had this discussion. I don't remember who it was with. I feel like it was with you, Dylan, about whether a
And
musical is a
Forrest.
play.
Yes,
And- yeah.
Forrest. Forrest will
Yeah,
argue that a musical is not a play.
I guess. I disagree. But
I think it's a square rectangle debate
well, right.
where
Yeah,
typically
yeah.
a musical is a play, but a play is not a musical.
Right, of course. Yeah.
Well,
that's
but
what
then I
think.
think the other argument is that like it's just a type of theater because you can like there's multiple types of theater, so it's not necessarily a play. But yes,
Well,
we were just.
is a musical a movie?
It can be.
This one is.
I mean, that's.
Well, then why couldn't it be a play?
Yeah, that's true. Got me there.
I mean,
Well,
I'm not
got me
arguing.
there. I'm on
You're
your side
arguing
of
the
this
same thing I
argument.
am.
I'm just saying.
Well, I'm just giving you
Yes.
the counter argument.
How the
Yeah.
world would be different if Lincoln
that's
went to
what-
see a movie that night instead.
So, but I like things that are good and happen to be musicals. So, like, I've seen like Hamilton and Book of Mormon and stuff, and those are really good. Just, I wouldn't say despite them being musicals, but like, I'm not there for the musical aspect, but it happened to be good. I did go into this movie thinking I would just absolutely hate it, but I actually liked this movie. I thought it was way more like clever than it had any right to be in a lot of spots, and there were some parts where I genuinely laughed out loud. I get some of the weird like comedy like shticks that they did. I don't know. I thought it was actually funny, and Some of the musical bits did go on for a really long time, but that's just the movie it is. But I actually liked it.
I don't think all of them were bad. The one where he's like, "We've got one more number to do," and then
Oh
it
my
just goes on
God.
like a 15-minute
Yeah.
dance number, and
Yeah.
it like gets really serious, and we basically just see the end of the movie play out like in real time. That was weird. I was like, "We're still in this?"
Yeah, it took a while, and then he's like, "Yeah, something like that." You're like, "Oh, I'd have to see it on film."
Zach, I feel like you're gonna hate this too.
Yeah, I'm not a musicals guy. If you want to make a movie and you want to have a great plot, and for some reason you think that story's best told through music, maybe reconsider making a movie. And instead, maybe put out an album instead.
Oh,
I didn't like this movie at all. I had
Dang.
such a hard time watching it. It was one of those where I was like half an hour in and I'm like, come on, is it over yet?
nah. An hour and 20 minutes left to go.
And 20 minutes of just one song.
Yeah.
Cocktail was amazing though.
I will say, the main dude, what's his name? Gene something?
Kelly?
Gene Kelly?
Gene Kelly. His, dance, whatever you call it, choreography is insane. In this movie, it's crazy the shit that he does.
It's also
a lot
his
of it is.
choreography.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he directed it, right? I think.
Yeah, but he also
he was like one of them.
but he also did a bulk of the choreography for the movie.
Okay.
That was his big thing.
I feel like you just don't see that type of thing anymore in anything.
Yeah, there's a reason.
Wow.
You can see it when you watch this movie. You're like, oh, those people are extremely talented.
Yeah.
They didn't waste their time making movies like this.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, that last, we mentioned it, but that last 20-minute song or whatever, the choreography in that was insane. And there were some shots in this that I was like, oh, that's actually a really cool thing you get, a really cool shot that you guys did here.
So I think one of the ones that impressed me the most was watching the Good Morning and realizing about a third of the way through the song that they haven't cut.
Yeah.
They're still going in just one continuous take. And it was that's fucking impressive.
Yeah.
That's insane. The fact that they all stayed in rhythm, they all kept going on pace for the entirety of that number was just incredible.
I was thinking about it, and I was like, is this similar to any musical I've seen since? And I mean, not necessarily, but I was thinking of some of the shots and how some numbers feel really small, like the one with the diction coach.
Yeah.
Whether it's what Moses thinks his toes or roses or whatever. That number is really small, but it's really well done and danced. But then I was like, well, aren't most of the numbers like that? Because Good Morning is pretty small to an extent. But then I was like, oh, well, in Singing in the Rain, the camera cranes out and shows him on the backlot street. And then that final 20-minute number is a huge fucking set that they're on.
Huge production set. Yeah. Yeah.
And I was trying to think of things I've seen recently, because there's not a ton of dancers in this, but the scale does kind of seem big still in a sense.
There's
those
a lot
big
in that
ones.
last scene.
Oh yeah, when there's a million dancers coming.
Yeah. Yeah. In the final number, there's a lot in that one.
Could be. They had to pay all those people. They had to get their money's worth.
Yeah.
I agree. So many of the numbers are just one or two people. A lot of them are just it's just Gene Kelly and
Donald O'Connor.
Yeah, Donald O'Connor doing just the tap bits, and then you might get Gene Kelly singing a song with Debbie Reynolds, but for the most part, it was really just one or two people.
Which Donald
yes.
O'Connor, unsung hero of the movie.
He was so
Oh
funny.
my God,
He was
so
so
good.
funny. Yeah.
so funny, just purely talented. When he's singing the Make 'Em Laugh number, and he's got the dummy, and it's putting its hand on him.
Oh, yeah.
And he's
He's
slapping
fighting
away,
with the
putting it
dummy.
back. And then he
Yeah.
tries to
When
do
he
the somersault.
throws himself up over the couch.
Yes. He's like constantly trying to do that somersault, and his legs are locked and stuff. I'm like, geez, he's just like flailing around and like putting his body on the line.
Well, even at the end,
Well,
it's,
and
well,
very
that's the
good
thing.
like body control. It's very similar to what you see in like, I guess like more nowadays like Jim Carrey, I guess, like people like that where they have very good control over their body, their facial expressions, that kind of stuff.
The thing that was insane to me was just like the fact that he does all this goofy shit and he's dancing and you're like, okay, and then he starts like running up the walls and doing the flips and you're like, oh shit, all right, this is actually about to do some shit, and then he throws himself through the wall and it's like, oh yeah, this guy's legit. But I do agree, the part where like he runs his face in and like he's like his whole, I don't even know how the hell he does that. Makes it look like his face is literally off the side.
On HBO Max, if you watch it there, there's 2 extras like underneath the movie. There's 3, I think, but I skimmed through 2 of them. One of the, and I didn't even put this together until after the movie. One of them is Carrie Fisher talking about Debbie Reynolds, which totally forgot that was her mom. And then the other one was Christopher Walken talking about Gene. What's his last name again?
Kelly.
Sorry.
Hey,
Yes.
it's Gene.
Christopher
Kelly.
Walken talking about Gene Kelly, which I think is so interesting because he is also like a classically trained dancer as well.
Christopher Walken?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was in the music video for Fatboy Slim's what's the song called? Oh, it's called Weapon of Choice by Fatboy Slim. It was directed by Spike Jonze. If you have doubts about Christopher Walken's dancing ability, watch that music video because it's basically him dancing throughout the entire music video, and it's so good. I think they won like an Emmy for that music video. But anyway, it was interesting hearing him talking about Gene Kelly just because he's basically like, yeah, he uses his entire body for dance when a lot of people just use like underneath, like their waist and below. And he would do his own stunts, which would make, his managers a little bit, antsy because they didn't want him hurting himself and all that stuff. So it was kind of cool to hear that kind of stuff.
My culture, we're typically just above the waist dancers. It's one of our biggest criticisms.
Yes, exactly.
Do you guys ever feel like musicals are just single plots for like a shitty daytime TV series that they needed to stretch out an extra hour and a half?
No.
No, I
this-
think it's a very particular medium to express art in. And I don't think so.
I thought this plot was really good.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
like
I thought so.
meta
But it
humor
didn't
about
need to be
like the
that
whole
long, though.
industry and the talking
Yes,
pictures.
we should talk about that because I really liked the like meta-ness of the movie. But I
I
think
mean,
that
it
I don't
being a
know.
musical, and they were like the whole thing was like everyone's making musicals now. Like,
Yeah.
that's
It could be for musicals. I will say the episodes I always hated of any show ever were the musical episodes. I'd be like, fucking kill me. I hate this. This is terrible. Like Scrubs is one of my favorite shows, and their musical episode, I refuse to watch it. It's so
What? I love my musical.
I mean, like quality-wise, it's good, but fuck, do I hate musicals in that regard? Like
So,
for
Cameron,
TV shows, I'm like,
Did you
'cause-
know? Did
What's
you
up?
know the people who wrote the music for the Scrubs episode My Musical are the same people who did the music for Book of Mormon?
Oh, really?
And
I'm not
also,
surprised.
And also, this one's gonna surprise you, knowing what Book of Mormon sounds like. Frozen.
Oh, that's weird. No, I mean, quality-wise, it was good. It's just one of those where, like, I do like the style like this. Well, I guess it depends. There's 2 types of things. Like, Hamilton has a lot of music in it, and it's like, I don't know what percentage of it is music versus talking. but it's a lot.
Hamilton is considered almost an operetta. I think it hits the 80% mark. It's considered an operetta.
So that one, though, does a lot of storytelling through the music. So a lot of the storytelling happens through the music. However, in stuff like this, like the music's just there for show, essentially. And so, like, I just feel like in musical episodes, it's kind of like there's like 10% story and like 90% music. They embellish a lot of the music just for like whatever. So that's my only gripe. That's my gripe with the show musicals. Is it's kind of like it's mostly fluff.
yeah, it's just like kind of like a gimmicky one-off episode.
Yeah. Which again, it can be very well written. It's just like I just feel like there's not a ton of show there. Like there's not a lot of the stuff I want to get out of it.
I was gonna say, like, I feel like when you, as far as like television show, like musical episodes, it's like that's not why you tune into that show.
Yeah.
You tune into Scrubs for like comedy, like a show. You're not there for like a musical. Like when you watched Singin' in the Rain, you were like, "This is gonna be a musical."
Right.
I'm here for.
I'm ready for
the dance numbers and the music.
Yeah. Right. I do think that some musicals can just be a lot of filler, but I think that good ones aren't.
I mean,
yeah,
the ones that aren't just fillers are the ones you know and are remembered.
Right. Like this one, I feel like there are like some of the music numbers can be drawn out a bit, and it's kind of like, okay, all right, come on. But I don't know. For the most part, I didn't think it was too egregious in this movie, where it was like, God damn, taking too long.
See, it's interesting though, because I feel like in this movie is literally like the plot is just a vehicle to guide you to the next song. Like literally him singing in the rain has nothing to do with the plot of the movie.
That's true.
Make him laugh has nothing to do with the plot of the movie. They're talking about him going to do his job of being an actor, and then the guy starts singing about being a comedic actor when the guy's a dramatic actor, and it's just kind of out of the blue. I mean, good morning. Like, not really, doesn't like guide you to the next thing. They just talk about the fact that, oh look, it's morning, let's sing. Don't get me wrong, I'm here for it. I fucking love it.
No,
but
yeah, you're
this
right.
this movie's songs are kind of just like, oh hey, here's this thing that happens, and now a song.
That's just kind of most musicals, I feel like.
I think you get a good split. I think it depends.
Yeah.
Like I'm hard pressed to think of a musical that, like, I mean, obviously I don't do many musicals, but I'm like, Moulin Rouge is one of my like favorite movies, and I'm like, most of the songs in that are just kind of like popular music and stuff, like repurposed, and it's like the plot is just to guide you to the next song. I mean, Mamma Mia,
Blues
same
Brothers.
Shit. Is Blues Brothers a musical?
I
I think there's enough
I don't
in it
think
to
so.
be called a musical.
I feel like it's a movie with music in it, but
Yes.
That's what I'm into.
I think a musical movie like Bye Bye Birdie, a lot of the actual story is kind of explained through songs. It's not just a vehicle from one to another.
is Bye Bye Birdie a Happy Gilmore? Broadway?
No, or Zach would love it. That's
Oh,
what
okay.
Adam Sandler should do next.
A musical?
Zach
Oh
would
my
fucking-
god.
As
Zach
soon as he
would
gets out
fucking
under the
love
evil
it.
clutches of Netflix.
Isn't Eight Crazy Nights a musical or no?
It's kind of,
I
yeah.
think so. There's music in it.
No,
Eight Crazy
I think-
Nights. Oh my god.
Next week on the pod.
That movie was so. I don't know if it's good anymore, but that movie was so funny when I watched it like 10 years ago.
It is listed as a musical.
So here's what I believe the distinction a lot of times for what defines a musical. A musical is technically, I believe, when the characters are like, technically it says something about like having singing and dancing is an essential part, but I think the big difference is like when a character's in a musical, like the songs in that are happening, but it's not like they're cognizant that they are singing a song.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep. They're not self-aware of the song.
Yeah, the song just kind of happens almost as if they're talking.
Yeah.
Versus other like movies with like the Blues Brothers, for example, they're aware that they are performing a song like at a concert.
Or in a diner.
What's
Like
the
it kind of breaks away from the world of the movie to do this number.
So yeah, I think it's more so that like when the songs in that are like part of just life, they're not super cognizant of it versus the songs being like a performance.
So when the characters are learning how to do the scarn, does that make
The
Threat
what?
Level Midnight a musical?
No.
My Office deep cut fans are going to appreciate that if you leave it in.
Okay, the other thing you mentioned a while ago, which I also liked, was the meta-ness of this movie. I mean, one of the other things that's crazy to me is like, I mean, obviously the events of this movie are so far removed from us, but like they're only parodying events that happened like, what, 20 or 30 years prior? Like,
Yeah.
it's like if you were to make a movie today about how it was like to make a movie in the 90s. Like, it wouldn't be that big of a deal because the change probably isn't that radical besides the switch
Guys, we should totally
digital
make
stuff.
a musical movie about the switch from film to digital.
I
Well,
feel like
right,
the
that's
humor
what I'm
won't
saying.
be there though because
No.
like this one is humorous because that the actress's voice is like awful. The
Yes.
switch from digital to film would be like, wow, now we can do as many takes as we need because we're not shooting to something that
The
is
movie's like 10 times longer, or it's just a redux
Hey.
of The Disaster Artist where they're just sitting there forever, like going
Exactly.
cut and all that.
No, it's just about someone with like terrible skin, but now that it's digital and in 4K, they can't hide it. They have to get a new actress.
Yeah, I just
Or-
thought it was. I just thought
Or
it was
the
funny.
whole Beowulf thing, where it's like Uncanny
Oh
Valley.
God, it's digital, like all digital stuff, but not kinda. Yeah.
I hope someone's writing this down, and hopefully they're gonna give me money when they make this movie musical.
We're gonna make so much fucking money. But yeah, it's just interesting to me how rapidly the theater film landscape changed within that period of time. Like how they showed, like people that were in movies, like if they didn't have a good movie voice, they kind of just got like fucked. Just kind of like,
Yeah.
well, sorry, your voice is annoying as shit. We can't put you in this.
Everybody
Yeah.
except Gilbert Gottfried got fucked.
I mean, the actress in this movie, I don't know if that's like her actual voice, but like her
God, I
voice was
hope not.
pretty annoying.
It was not good. No.
I hope nobody sounds like that.
Well, at least one person does.
Which I also like how it takes a long time for her to even speak in the movie. Like, they hold it out, like, oh, she's gonna talk. Oh, nope, she's not gonna talk. Why isn't she talking ever? And then finally, when she does talk, you're like, oh god.
It's hilarious that the studio is just like, we just don't want you to talk because we don't want to ruin this perception, which is kind of messed up as well because it's like that's not really right, but she's kind of an awful character, so I don't really feel too bad for her.
It's like when they put the 3-point line on the basketball court, you know? If you could hit it, awesome. Go sit on the bench. If you can't, the hell off the team.
Yeah,
Well, if you can't, then just be like 7 feet tall and play in the post.
They didn't have those back then. Humans weren't engineered to be that big back then, Ben. You know that.
engineered.
I'm sorry. Do you guys still believe in evolution?
Oh my god.
No, but I'm also pretty sure, like, a lot of really tall guys played basketball before the invention of the 3-point line.
Not in the NBA, though.
I mean, when was Wilt Chamberlain playing? Like, was that before or after?
What about Bill Russell?
All right, there's two guys.
I have to look and see when this came about.
When was the invention of the 3-point line? Is that a real thing, or am I getting memed right now?
I'm literally trying to figure out when the NBA adopted the 3-point line.
First 7-footer in the NBA played from 1946 to 1947.
1 year?
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, the other thing is it's just more lucrative now to be a professional basketball player, right? Like they had tall people. Like one of the world's tallest men. I mean, I've seen it in like, you know, the Ripley's Believe It or Not exhibits, but like he was not from, I don't know when he was born, but it wasn't, I feel like it was in the early 1900s.
So evolution's a lie. You heard it here first.
That's not what I said.
So in 1979, the NBA adopted the 3-point line for a 1-year trial.
In 79? That's how new it is? Holy shit. That's actually crazy. That actually makes all of like Wilt Chamberlain's like scoring stats even more insane. He was
The
in
NBA, all right, hold on.
79.
The first known
seems
use
so
of the
late.
3-point line in professional basketball was in the ABL back in 1961.
Okay.
And it was never seriously considered. When the ABA was formed in 67, it also started trying to use the slam dunk contest and 3-point line. It was still only after the merging of the ABA with the NBA that 3-point line was seriously considered. In 1976, the Pacers, Spurs, Nuggets, and Nets joined the NBA. However, the 3-point line was not introduced until 1979. Coincidentally, the rookie year of one of the greatest shooters of all time, Larry Legend.
Wow.
So you could also throw Kareem Abdul-Jabbar on that list of guys who played in the NBA before the 3-point line. Get wrecked, bitch.
think my point stood though.
Did it?
You guys named 3 dudes.
All I'm saying is it's crazy that this dude, Wilt Chamberlain, put up 100 points in a single game with no 3-pointers.
Yeah, he
No,
also
it's
played a
not.
bunch of
He's
like.
a foot and a half taller than everybody else on the court.
Yeah,
It was not
he was literally
crazy.
like 6'9", 6'10", and everyone else who played in that game was like 5'11" and 6'2".
The only impressive thing is that he managed to get up and down the court for a full game. They just had to pass him the ball. He would catch it above everybody, turn around, and drop it in the net. There's nothing impressive about it.
Yeah,
It's
I
like
don't
playing
know.
a game. It's like playing Madden when you run the score up by 70 points. It's like, come on, everybody knows what's going to happen. It's just
Have
a
you
matter
ever
of if
just
he wants to
have you
do
ever
it
just
or not.
stood next to a trash can and just kept dropping paper balls in? That was Wilt Chamberlain.
I will say it is hilarious to look at this list of most points in a game because you look at it and it's Wilt Chamberlain, Kobe Bryant, number 2, then Wilt, someone else, Wilt, a couple other people, Wilt, a couple other people, Wilt for like 10 spots.
Kobe,
like this-
Devin Booker.
This dude was insane.
So Singin' in the Rain is a 1951.
It's a 2004 comedy.
Look, people listen to us for
Stoner
these
comedy
offshoot
film.
tangents. They
God.
don't listen to us to talk about the movie the whole time, okay?
The best part of this movie for me was kind of just sitting back and being like, wow, these people are like showmen and women, I guess. Just watching them like dance, just jump on chairs and dance on top of a chair, dance on top of a piano, like flip on walls. I was like, wow, singing. And like they did it themselves, you know? Like I don't think they had someone else like singing for them, and I don't think they had people like come in and do the choreography. Like
No,
So it's
well,
like-
Gene Kelly did a lot of the choreography, and I'm assuming, yeah, I'm sure they probably did the singing, not
it's
while
not
recording,
live, obviously.
but at the same time back then, you had to be like really good about we're going to play the song like over the like on a record while we're recording, and your mouth movement and everything has to be on point, or else it's going to look way off. It's like Ashley Simpson that one time. Remember
Yep.
when she was
That
singing
one
to the
time that
record,
ruined her
but the
career.
but the record skipped, and then everyone found out she was a phony.
yeah,
that one goof that entirely obliterated her career.
I mean, it was on SNL though. Like it was like, hey, if you're gonna goof, don't goof on like one of the biggest like late night shows.
It was definitely a big goof, but it was just it's just sad, funny. I don't know what you call it, but just like one gaff just like destroyed her career.
Entire career.
Yeah, it was just
Meanwhile, Justin Timberlake out here flashing titty, and everyone's like, "Oh, we love him."
Well, so that's the difference. That's the sexism, right? Because Janet Jackson got blackballed from everything after that, but JT now is just like we're cool with him. Except his music kind of sucks nowadays. So
He's
Yeah,
a
it's kinda
family
like,
man.
Chris Brown.
oh, it's
Somehow that
exactly
man
like
still
Chris
has a
Brown.
career.
I don't understand how he's still relevant. Like, man,
You know what was an interesting thing that came up today? We were listening to, I think it was like
Cocktails
a hip
and
hop
Breakfast.
station at work. R. Kelly came on.
Hey,
Ew.
remix to Ignition.
We had that giant conversation of can you separate the monster from the music? It's the Kevin Spacey debate, really.
It's along the lines
I
of our
think it
poop
depends.
talk.
The Chris Brown debate, the Kevin Spacey debate, the James Franco debate, the Jared Leto debate.
I don't think it's so.
The
black
Jared
and
from
white
Subway
either.
debate. I mean, wait, hold on. He doesn't make the sandwiches, right?
It's sad that they fired him, and then he's like. I mean, I think I heard a comedian make this joke or whatever, but like, he was like a prolific pedophile, but still, him being the Subway spokesman is the most like. That's like the most recognizable thing about him, you know? It's like Subway spokesman, pedophile. It's like, oh yeah, Jared the pedophile. Oh, who's
They're
that?
kinda
Yeah,
like-
the Subway guy.
Hand in hand for me? Like,
Oh no, don't let Subway
Say
hear you
Jared the
say that.
pedophile. I don't know who you're talking about.
Right, Jared from Subway.
I know you're
though.
talking about the
Yeah.
pedophile from Subway.
Yeah, exactly. Really, it's a really tough break for Subway PR, that's for sure. Poor Subway can't catch a break.
well,
This
Subway
podcast
has
they're
brought
like
to you
talk.
by Quiznos.
they're like the largest franchise like
Yeah,
organization in the
worldwide.
world. So
Yeah. I don't feel too bad for them. I'm just saying that it is tough that, like, that's not really something they did.
I mean, they did pay the man like $10 million, and I'm sure they could have looked into his background a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now that we've just discussed anything and everything under the sun, we're going to hit up some ads, and then we're going to come back and we're going to go through a little trivia quiz. You know we love saving the turts. You know Cam hates fucking paper straws.
Paper straws suck. I will say that paper straw technology has improved since I last shat on paper straws. I have used a couple since I've been able to go out more recently due to being vaccinated, and
that's what they were doing the whole time while we were inside. They were just inventing better paper straws.
I have seen also not paper straws, but it seems like they're compostable plastic straws or something. Like
you're talking about the ones that are made out of like agave or whatever.
I have no idea what the composition of these straws are. I'm just, but they are different.
I'm not a straw expert.
But you're the expert, Dylan.
But I do know a good glass straw when I see one, you know?
Yes. I will say for being at home and where maybe you like straws in your fruity margaritas, or you like straws to mix with your, old fashions or whatever, having these straws around the home is really nice. No, not constantly like throwing things away, or you don't have to keep buying straws all the time. Like you just buy a couple and then you're good.
And if you want cocktail picks or muddlers, they have that too. There's many colors. He's getting into like designs. So like the pride flag, he puts it on like the side of the straw. He's got hearts. He's got critters. It's like you get a piece of art along with a straw. Little multi-use.
Oh yeah, he has critter straws, which have see a dolphin, a salamander. That salamander looks intricate. That is impressive.
Grab some glass straws from Surfside Sips. Use promo code cocktails and classics spelled out for 20% off. We get a little kickback from that, and you get to save some money on some glass straws, and they should last you a long time. Dishwasher safe. They're pretty sturdy. Just don't drop them on the floor like me, like a big idiot. You have to buy more. Zach watches these movies, does some research. He comes up with some trivia questions, and he quizzes us on it. Sees if we paid attention, what we know. Sometimes adjacent to the movie, it's not necessarily just straight trivia.
Usually adjacent.
But Zach, what do you got for us on Singin' in the Rain?
All right, I have a question directly related to the movie. As a matter of fact, I have a timestamp. At the 1 hour, 22 minute, and 3 second mark, there is a subtle jump cut during one of the dancing scenes between Gene Kelly and Sid Charisse because A, the scene was deemed too sexually suggestive, B, Gene Kelly's genitalia outline can be easily seen, or C, the two had unknowingly performed Swingjugend, a popular dance during the Third Reich, or in the Third Reich.
Oh, Jesus. So we have two sex things and a Nazi thing. That's a
cocktails and classics trivia question if I've ever heard one.
Sexually suggestive. You could see Gene Kelly's member or Third Reich dancing.
Third Reich dancing. If it's one thing the Third Reich was not known for, was dancing.
No, they were happy people.
It's not in their top 5 of memorable feats.
I don't know
No.
what you talk about. If there's two things I know about Hitler outside of, him being a terrible, terrible person, it's that he loved to
And
paint
being an okay artist.
and he was super light on his feet.
Wow.
Oh man.
Wow. What an audience.
I'm
Get a lot of dancing done in those movies.
I said number 1 was he's a terrible, terrible person, all right?
Right. No. It's
Great
all good.
someone
dancer.
just make us like a
As long as you qualify a statement with that, you're good. I'm gonna say B. I don't know.
I
Gene
don't
Kelly's
think
member was...
Yeah.
I don't think little Gene came out to play. I think it was just that it was
Could have been Big Gene.
sexually
Could've been Big Gene.
suggestive. I think this is like the
But that's the
50s.
most boring answer.
But it was the 50s, dude. You
I
couldn't
know.
even show a man and a woman in bed together.
I know,
if they
I
weren't
know.
like married. It's
Even if they were married, I Love Lucy, they had 2 beds.
that's just because they hated each other.
That's not true.
That's I Love Lucy lore.
Okay, so I do know that this is the scene where it's during the super long musical number. It is where Gene
Obviously.
Kelly comes in.
Because that's the
And
only
the-
time he dances with that
The
character.
ladies, well, yeah, the lady's wearing the green frilly dress. Well, she kicks like his hat and his glasses. I'm going to say, as Gene Kelly stands up, they cut because as he stands up, you can see the outline of little Gene.
Yes.
Moly. You guys are all over the little Gene trail. Nobody wanted to take a guess at Swing Yuden, popular dance in the Third Reich.
Yeah, what the hell was that, dude?
Believe it or not, one of the most frowned upon things you're gonna find in my Google search history is Nazi dances. That is a popular dance that the Nazis
But
performed.
surprisingly, it's not the worst thing you'll find in Zach's Google history.
It's disappointing, but not the worst.
The correct answer is A. The scene was deemed too
Wow.
sexually suggestive because of a part where Sid Charisse jumps up and wraps her legs around Gene Kelly's waist, and that was naughty.
Naughty.
So that gives Dylan the 1 point lead, and we will
right.
roll
Boo.
right in to question number 2. After finishing the Good Morning song, Debbie Reynolds had to be carried to her dressing room because A. She twisted both of her ankles, B. She burst blood vessels in both of her feet, or C. She strained both of her MCLs.
My God, that's
All of
terrible.
those sound awful.
Not what I want to do tomorrow.
I'm gonna go with the MCL strains. I guess. I mean, all of them sound
I
bad.
don't know enough about like MCL, ACL to like know if that would be something
then,
that would like be caused just
career
by
ender.
like dancing.
Career ender.
Yeah, but a strain, not like a tear, you know.
She had to give up her career playing for the Jets.
Best New
She
York Jet
she
they've
dodged
ever
a
had.
bullet there.
Yeah. Debbie Reynolds and Broadway Joe.
I'm gonna once again go with the vanilla answer and say she sprained both of her ankles, just purely based off. There was one part where they're like going down the stairs, and I feel like she wasn't doing it as much. Like she wasn't doing all the moves as much, so I feel like she wasn't as mobile because maybe she sprained her ankle earlier on.
Or she sprained both her MCLs.
I
I mean, all of these would make me less mobile.
Too much of the Charleston
yeah.
sprains an ACL.
I don't know for sure.
She doesn't
but I
have as
wanna
much movement
say
in the pocket.
I've heard before that she sprained her. At least I thought it was just the one, but maybe she sprained both ankles. But I feel like I've heard that before. So I'm gonna go with sprained ankle.
The correct answer is she burst blood vessels in both of
Wow.
her feet.
Ouchie.
Gene Kelly, known for being a perfectionist, especially during this movie, they did numerous takes of all of these extremely long scenes. And yeah, built up blood vessels throughout the course of rehearsing. On the last take, bursted them and had to be carried to her dressing room.
Jesus Christ.
It's like some Shelley Duvall shit.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
I was gonna
yeah.
say.
Yeah, only Gene Kelly's not known as a monster.
That
All
we
right.
know of.
So
True.
He's
Dylan,
dead, so I will slander him now.
He can't sue you now.
Can't sue me. Maybe the Gene Kelly estate can, but
Gene Kelly dead before Dylan was born. Dylan, he's a
I think he died in like '96 or something.
Oh, was it 96? He died in 1996. 2-year-old Dylan. All my homies hate Gene Kelly.
All right, guys. So Dylan retains his 1 point lead. Question number 3. Singing in the Rain originally premiered on television on November 23rd, 1963, December 7th, 1963, or December 21st, 1963.
I'm gonna go with A once again. I'm just all A's over here. I'm gonna go with 11/23/63.
Yeah, I want to pick a different answer, but I do think it is November
I
23rd.
think it was the 1-year anniversary of Kennedy's assassination.
Oh,
Dylan Kennedy was
My
killed
God.
in 63.
Okay.
11/23/63 was the day JFK was killed.
Okay.
Wait, so it was
I
the
thought
day that JFK was killed then?
Yeah.
Is what you're saying?
That's A.
Sorry, I thought it was 62. I thought it was,
Oh, man.
but
No, that's not the reason I picked A. But
it's the reason I picked it because Zach's a meme lord. So
All right, hold on. There's one thing I have to check. It's not the
Yeah,
actual.
check the date that Singing in the Rain came on TV.
No,
hold on, I have to Google
no, I
the
have to
answer
check.
real
I have to
quick.
check a different year real quick.
This reminds me of
Okay.
like previous way back in season
Okay.
1, we do some trivia and you'd see one of the cast members of the podcast on their phone during the trivia section. You're like, how did you get that closest without going over exactly right for the last 3 weeks in a row?
no, Zach.
Cough, cough, Carlos, cough.
So you said it's 11/23/63, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's the day after. Because
Oh, that's the day
that's why I
after?
thought it was 62. Because I remember the book. It's like there was one was 2 and one was 3. So yeah, it's 11/22/63. So it is the day after JFK was assassinated.
what book?
11/22/63. Stephen King.
Oh, I see.
It's a very interesting book. You should read it. Highly recommend it. It's pretty long. It's about a guy who goes into a time portal in order to stop JFK from being assassinated.
They made a limited series about that, didn't
Yes,
they?
starring
With James Franco.
With
James
James
Franco.
Franco. This podcast just comes full circle.
And he ate poop on set. In his scotch.
I'm gonna say it was December 7th, a day that will live in infamy.
God.
That's why he picks the days.
100%. Why am
He's
assuming
like
that's the
he
day?
like sees dates and then he's like,
What's the other
I
one?
know that date.
100%. It's just like, what's the worst thing that could have happened on this day too? Let me pick this
What was
date.
what was the other date?
Is 11/23, 12/7, or 12/21.
What's 12/21?
It's 4 days before Christmas.
Okay. Well, thank you. That's all right.
That's probably the
Got
true
nothing
one.
else for you. I don't know.
That's probably the actual one, and then he was like just coming up with meme days.
Meme answers. Yeah, probably.
No, all the days are 2 weeks apart. I kept my spacing. Alrighty. Well, the Singing in the Rain was supposed to premiere on 11/23/63. However, it had to be pushed back 2 weeks for some reason to
To the
12/7/63.
assassination. Wow.
Ben
The only
pulls
reason
it
I picked
in.
that 23rd is because they mentioned March 23rd in the movie. Not sure if that had any impact, but
Probably not.
like 6 months later.
Alrighty. Well, take us back to our roots. We have a closest without going over tiebreaker between Dylan and Ben. At the peak of the working days, a single working day would stretch out to how many hours long while filming Singing in the Rain?
I can tell you what it's probably at least.
I don't get out of bed for anything less than 3 hours. I'm going to say 14 hours.
I was gonna say 12. I think it is longer, but 12 is like the standard now. So
This was originally a multiple choice question. I was going to give you 15, 19, or 23.
Whoa.
The correct answer is 19 hours.
okay.
Dubs.
Yes, 19-hour days. Imagine pulling that.
Yeah, I think the longest I've done. I mean, technically, I have worked 19 hours before, but not like straight on set.
This explains how you burst a blood vessel in your foot.
Yeah, that'll get you.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine doing like a dance number for hours. the
Well,
same-
could you imagine? Like, so when they actually do the song "Singing in the Rain," you've got to think they've got to like do that take, and then they've got to wait, right? So you're not doing that take multiple times in them wet ass socks and fucking tap shoes.
I'm sure they got multiple pairs of.
Like, you got to like just get them changed, and then grab the old one and like run it to a dryer.
Because
Get
I
it
also
back
think
out
they
there.
have like there's cuts in there too. I believe.
There are cuts in that one. Yeah. Yeah, after I noticed the no cuts in Good Morning, I watched every other thing looking for a cut. Because I was curious to know if they did.
Well, congratulations, Ben. Broken clocks, right twice a day.
Just can't handle my I was a theater kid knowledge.
I was a theater kid knowledge. I love that.
It shows.
Fuck you. Fuck you.
Those of us who have seen it, we got some nostalgia, good or bad. We'll give you our ratings that we brought in, and then we'll give you an updated ratings. But we got 2 people who have not seen this movie before, and they're going to give you a fresh rating first.
So yeah, like I said at the top of this, I liked this movie. I thought it was witty, clever. It wasn't. I do feel like it can be hard to enjoy older movies because they just feel so old that it's hard to relate. But I really liked this one. I thought it was good. The musical numbers were entertaining, and I don't think they were too frequent, like to the point where I was just like waiting for the musical numbers to be over. Some of them were kind of long, but for the most part, not too long. I really liked the meta plot lines in this movie. I thought that it was interesting. I really liked the main characters of the movie. O'Connor's character was hilarious, and all of them were very talented. So I'm actually going to give this movie a 7.5 out of 10. I thought it was very good. I liked it way better than I thought I was going into it, honestly. I thought I was going to hate this one, but I didn't. So that's where we're at.
I did not like this movie at all. I typically like older movies, especially when they include a painted backdrop or two. But a question that didn't make it into the trivia was which one came first, the music, the plot, or the cast and crew. The music was actually written first for this movie. They wrote all the songs and then had to come up with a plot later, and I think that's really evident. They tie it together. There's a decent story. I just think it's maybe a half hour of a story that you have to sit through 2 hours worth of musical to get to. Was not a fan of it at all. The talented actors, I don't want to shit on them too much because it's clear they were amazing at what they did. I just don't like the final product at all. It's not the worst movie I've ever seen. It's better than Food Fight. It's better than the Star Wars Holiday Special. But it gets a 2 out of 10.
Wow. Lower than Hubie Halloween.
Okay.
Easily
Dead
lower.
silence.
I would watch Hubie Halloween 10 more times before I watch this movie once.
That's saying something because you've already watched it about 10 times.
Is it though? Because he's voluntarily watched it 10 times.
I will say though, would I watch this movie or Hubie Halloween again? I would probably watch Hubie Halloween again first. But that is a worse movie.
Going in, I gave this movie a 6 out of 10. I remember not necessarily enjoying it that much. Upon watching, though, again, this is a fantastic movie. It's so well put together. I feel like everything is well thought out. The choreography is amazing. The musical numbers, most of them aren't super catchy, but Singing in the Rain is such a banger. It slaps. It's catchy as hell. I was still singing it hours after. And that's probably why it's the name of the movie. It's the big number that stuck. The plot, I enjoyed the transition from silent movies to talking movies, and that some people their voices didn't fit, and that they had to dub over her voice, and she's this villain because she's gonna blackmail everybody into making her the star with the beautiful voice, even though it's not hers. For those reasons, and just I don't know if I just let myself go and let it happen, but I really enjoyed this on this viewing, and I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. That might change in the future if I watch it again. Maybe it'll change again, but I thoroughly enjoyed this, and I think even if you don't like musicals, I think you should give this one a shot just because it is such a iconic and classic one.
Ben loves musicals. I've been pushing for this movie since we started this fucking podcast.
Can I put you down for a 3?
No, you may not. So going in, I had this movie at a 7. Upon rewatching it, yes, the plot is there specifically, it's there to drive from song to song. That's what musicals do. The one thing I love about this movie though too is just some of the subtle comedy things, or even not so subtle, but the things you don't necessarily always remember. The entire bit with the microphone, where the director keeps storming out and is this is a microphone. It runs through this cable to the wax recording. You have to speak into the microphone. Walks out, sits down. She starts talking, and the audio just kind of like goes from really quiet to really loud, and then really quiet again, and then back to really loud, and then he stomps back out. He's like, "Well, I can't make love to a plant," so they put it like on her chest, and it's the same thing, but every time he's just like, "Quiet, rolling," and then he storms back in, sits down, sits there for like 2 seconds, sounds like shit, gets back out, yells again. Just a great bit. Donald O'Connor, I did not remember him being as great as he was. That dude is, if Gene Kelly is the star of that movie, Donald O'Connor is for real the unsung hero that just drives that whole movie.
I will say I looked it up, and he did win a Golden Globe for Best Actor in this movie.
Good.
O'Connor did.
Well deserved. The other thing that just amazes me at this movie is the fucking, as much as this movie is a musical, so you think of the music in that, I always remember this movie more so for how incredibly talented of a dancer Gene Kelly is. And he just, even him and Donald O'Connor, and they just make it look like they're not even trying. Like, it's just like, yeah, do. Here's this really awesome fucking dance, and it's not even hard for us. And it's just really well done. I gave this movie an 8, but I definitely think it deserves its rank in the top 100. It's a classic musical. Check it out. It's a banger.
If you enjoyed this, don't forget to rate and subscribe. Share us with your friends and family. Check us out on Instagram at Cocktails and Classics Pod, and check out some of our past episodes. This is our first musical, but we've done plenty of classics. We've done Casablanca, Citizen Kane. We've done newer things like Reservoir Dogs and Boogie Nights.
All right.
And Uncut Gems.
Check something out. We got a little bit of everything for everybody. And as always, watch responsibly.